Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to remind you each and every day, it expands our base. The fires in California are preoccupying the attention of the nation, and that is exactly as it should be. This disaster is absolutely unprecedented in the history of California. Does it augur things to come in the future? Is global warming the real reason? And what does it mean, not just for California, but for the United States and, yes, indeed, for the world? Let's begin with the fact that there are now calls for Donald Trump, prior to his inauguration next week as president, to come to California to see for himself. This is a bipartisan call, Democrats and Republicans alike. Donald Trump should come. He should take a look. He should see the devastation firsthand. What about the war, and I use the term gently, between Donald Trump and Gavin Newsom? The answer is that there is no room for partisan politics at this moment. Now, I'll be honest with you, I listen to all sorts of media, left, right, center. What I've heard on Fox has been a continual barrage of attacks on Gavin Newsom and the Democrats and the liberals and, well, all the rest. This serves no constructive purpose. We don't know the causes of the fires, plural. We don't know whether or not the LA fire department did something right or did something wrong. All we know is that a natural disaster has swept through the second largest city in the United States of America. Now, it seems to me that it would be prudent for the federal government and the state government, and yes, the local government, to work together. Attacks on Mayor Bass or on people in Los Angeles make no sense to me. What we now have is a natural disaster of such proportion that millions of people are being affected. And they're being affected in a negative way. People have lost their homes. They've lost everything they worked for. They've lost, well, their lives as they have known them. And the odds are that the stability of the paradise of Southern California will not be restored for many years to come. What that means is we need a concerted effort on every level of government to work with people. That includes, by the way, insurance companies. I understand that insurance companies are designed to make money for the insurance company. I understand that. But in the face of such a disaster, the federal government and the state government have real roles to play, and those need to be defined. I spoke with friends in Southern California over the weekend. They described to me scenes of devastation, well, as if it were a war. And in a sense, it is a war. It is a war now to rebuild, to survive, to grow, and hopefully in the future to prosper. But more than that, it has to do with our global place. What does it mean when we as a nation look at the world and say, we're pulling out of the Paris Accords? That's what Donald Trump is saying. Now, this podcast is not designed to attack or criticize anyone, but there needs to be a recognition, a scientifically fact-based recognition of what we as a nation, as a state, and indeed as a world face. If these phenomenon of forest fires, coupled, by the way, on the East Coast with winter storms of gigantic proportion, if really and truly climate change is going to be a factor not just in the United States but around the world, then there needs to be a concerted effort by world leaders, and that includes the United States of America. So I say to Donald Trump, come to California. You will be welcomed for what you will be, President of the United States. Recognize that you are President of all 50 states, that we are not talking here about a partisan matter, nor is there a need to attack one politician or another. The opening to Donald Trump by Democrats and Republicans on a bipartisan basis shows that we in the state of California are willing and able to open our arms and say, come, look, see, help us to recover. That is what the federal government needs to do. And that, frankly, is what has to happen on media content. Why do I say on media content? Because the attacks that have taken place on the Southern California leadership, including Mayor Bass, that'll come. Who knows what the future will hold in terms of electoral prospects? She may lose. But now is the time not to argue, but to act. So, in discussing the Southern California fires, in discussing the devastation, let's make it an inclusive discussion. Let's bring Donald Trump and Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass together. Let's have them confront the problem which we all face, the revitalization of Southern California. And that's an important part of the future of our state and our country. We had better direct ourselves to reconstruction and to do it safely and to take into account all of the issues. Tonight, they say the winds are going to whip up again, and Los Angeles is going to feel the fierce winds that have caused such incredible damage. We pray for them. We hope for them. But most important of all, we'd better get the great minds in the federal, state, and local government together to work together to try to resolve what could be just the first of many, many crises. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which is, of course, our goal. You can interact with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and, of course, you can email me. But most important of all this morning, I want to thank Gogo Zoger, who guides this program each and every day. Gogo, thanks for doing such a great job. I am John Rothman, and I'll be back tomorrow, right here with you. Thank you so much.